Welcome to the 1990-91 Sequoyah Young Adult Book Award Pageant, live from the Card File Ballroom in your school library. I'm your host, Bert Sparks, and with me to share in this evening's glamour and excitement is the lovely and talented Miss Sequoyah Young Adult herself, Lucinda Lips.
Thank you, Bert. You can almost feel the excitement in the air. 13 beautiful books prepare to capture your attention on their way to being crowned the Sequoyah Young Adult Book of 1990. Tonight's pageant is the culmination of years of preparation by the books and their authors. In fact, every book on our stage has a 1988 copyright, so they are all evenly matched and very new to our competition. So really, any one of our books could end up with the authorized title.
The books have already completed the preliminary round of judging in which they were evaluated for their literary excellence. The panel of judges has narrowed the field down to the 13 finalists you will meet tonight.
That's right, Bert. Tonight the books will be judged in 3 categories. Poise and appearance, in which they will model their fabulous designer book jackets. Talent, in which the judges will evaluate the skill of their author. And teen popularity, in which the judges will decide which is the favorite among Oklahoma's teens. It's a tough competition, Bert, but I think our books are up for it.
Before we bring out the contestants, let me introduce to you our distinguished panel of judges. Look around. It's you! That's right, you, the 7th and 8th and 9th graders in the state of Oklahoma. We'll pick the winner of the Sequoyah Young Adult Book Award for 1990. We'll talk more about your qualifications later. Now it's time to meet our first group of finalists for the Sequoyah Young Adult Book of the Year.
Our first finalist is Magicians of Arion by James Barrie, published by Harper & Row. This gothic adventure story likes magic, dragons, and King Arthur's kingdom, and plays the wooden flute.
Who is the boy Ronin who suddenly appears on the legendary island of Arion? He remembers nothing except his name and his incredible magical powers. He brings nothing except a wooden flute and a strange metal amulet. The dragon Yorba, the island's master mage, befriends Ronin and becomes his mentor. The two grow to love each other, though Ronin's happiness is shadowed by a bizarre nightmare and the certainty that it holds the key to his blocked memories. But Ronin's worries are soon eclipsed by a crisis of such magnitude that it threatens the fabric of history. Yorba convinces Ronin to undertake a quest that takes him to the court of King Arthur and taxes his extraordinary powers to their ultimate limit. It is a quest that could reveal the secret of his identity, restore a teetering kingdom, and cost him his life. Our next contestant is sponsored by Harcourt Brace Jovanovich. Meet A Sudden Silence, written by the ever-popular Eve Bunting. A Sudden Silence is interested in making the world a safer place for everyone, but especially the handicapped.
Jesse Herman knows he will never forget the night his brother Bry was killed by a hit-and-run driver, because Jesse was there too when the car smashed into him, when the screeching of the brakes faded into that terrible sudden silence. In this haunting, sensitive novel for young adults, Eve Bunting addresses the complex issues of alcoholism, disability, and the loss of a sibling. Yet what stays in the mind is not tragedy, but Jesse and Chloe's determination to face the truth, and finally, their optimism and hope.
Meet The Winchesters. The Winchesters, written by James Lincoln Collier and published by Macmillan, likes working in the family mill and dealing with problems of the divided loyalties.
"14-year-old Chris Winchester is torn between two worlds. By birth, he's part of the indomitable Winchester clan, owners of the enormous electronics factory that employs nearly everyone in town. Yet Chris's father gave up his stake in the business to work for the Peace Corps. When he died, his mother and twin sisters moved into a tiny gatehouse on the Winchester estate. In spite of himself, Chris is drawn into the inner circle of the Winchester clan. Suddenly, he realizes that part of the Winchester wealth might be his one day. Being rich sounds exciting, but Chris's conscience is uneasy. He is faced with difficult grown-up decisions. Where does he belong, and whose side is he on?"
December Stillness, Clarion Book, offers this work by Mary Downing Hahn. December Stillness concerns itself with social issues such as the homeless and Vietnam veterans.
Every time Kelly visits the public library, Mr. Weems, the homeless man in town everyone knows but no one has ever spoken to, is there. When Kelly chooses the homeless as her topic for a research paper, she is positive Mr. Weems would be the perfect source of information. Much to her surprise, he refuses to speak to her and turns her way when she offers him food and warm clothes. Will Mr. Weems ever accept Kelly's help?
Thank you, contestants. Aren't they wonderful? The competition is sponsored by the Oklahoma Library Association to encourage the reading and writing of quality literature for young adults. The voting will take place in your school in January of 1991.
To be eligible to vote, you must be in the 7th, 8th, or 9th grade of the 1990-91 school year. You must have read at least 3 of the 13 books on the master list. You can only vote for the books you have read or have heard read.
Each of these books is so fabulous, you'll want to read them all. The voting will take place by secret ballot, but there are no secrets tonight. Let's meet some more of our finalists for the 1990 Sequoyah Young Adult Book Award.
Representing ancient Greece, The Dawn Palace, The Story of Medea. Written by H.M. Hoover and published by E.P. Dutton. The Dawn Palace features golden fleece, betrayal, and adventure.
Medea is a beautiful princess with blue-black hair and hazel eyes. Although it would seem she would have a wonderful life as a princess, she is troubled. Find out how her mother's death and recent problems with her friends have affected her when you read The Dawn Palace by H.M. Hoover.
And now, from Clarion Books comes Solus Holt's A Circle Unbroken. With a special interest in frontier days, A Circle Unbroken has a lot to say about families in different cultures.
A Circle Unbroken by Solus Holtz is about Rachel Porter. Rachel, captured as a child in 1838 by a band of renegade Sioux, has been recaptured at 17 by her minister father. But the chief of the tribe has raised her as a daughter. No matter what her white father demands of her, she cannot pretend that Kedawee, the name her Indian family gave to her, never existed. If only she could make her stern, harsh father understand that she was not raised by heathens, but by a warm, loving family she loves very much, inspired by actual incidents where white children were seized by Indians and later returned.
Born into Light is our next contestant, representing Scholastic Incorporated and written by Paul Samuel Jacobs. The science fiction adventure story likes things that are really out of this world.
On a quiet night in a sleepy New England town, young Roger Westwood saw the sky ripped apart by light. Out of the light ran a living form, a young boy, wild as a wolf. Where did it come from? Roger's discovery of the scorched earth from the brilliant light in the woods and the unformed creature floating in the pond nearby might hold the answers. Saying it likes things a little more down to earth, but just as complicated, is A Different Season by David Klass, published by E.P. Dutton. This entry likes baseball, girls, boys, and girls who play boys baseball.
A great Sequoyah book nominee this year is A Different Season by David Klass. For Jim Streak Rourke, this promises to be a fantastic year. Not only can he pitch a baseball at 80 miles per hour, thus the nickname Streak, and not only are Major League Scouts excited, but Jennifer Douglas, the star of the girls' softball team, is definitely interested. Romance is in the air until Jennifer talks about being on the team. At first, Jim thinks it would be great for her to be the manager, but when she really tells him that she wants to play on the team, he explodes in rolling laughter. But by the time he's finished laughing, she's history because she was totally serious. Jen's wish sends Sparks to fly home and to the school board. To find out more, be sure and check out A Different Season by David Klass.
Let's visit the island. This book likes to travel, not to the South Seas as you might expect from the title, but to a world of nature and self-understanding. The Island is by Gary Paulson, published by Orchard Books.
Just when Will Newton knew what he had to know to live in Madison, Wisconsin, like which drinking fountains were always goobered with gum, where to locate the best bratwurst or the best bike roads, just when he had found good friends, and Cindy Matheson had almost noticed him, just when he had it made, his father walked in and told him they were moving, and not to even a town, but to a small house in the woods, miles from the nearest settlement.
Fabulous, just fabulous. I'm certainly glad I'm not one of the judges. In my opinion, these books are all winners.
We're both just a little too old to vote in this competition.
Oh, speak for yourself, Bert.
Well, age notwithstanding, to be eligible to vote, you must be in grades 7, 8, or 9, and you must have read at least 3 of the books on the master list. Tonight's pageant is to help the judges choose which books they want to read.
Well, before I get any older, let's meet the last group of contestants up for the 1990 Sequoyah Young Adult Book Competition. Randy Powell offers My Underrated Year. This book likes mountains, moving, and being a sophomore in high school.
Roger's hoping to make the varsity football team and be number 1 on the men's tennis team, but the twins Paul and Mary Jo Mountain moved to town, and there's a good chance neither of his dreams will come true. Paul is an incredible football player, and Mary Jo is called the sophomore sensation and is trying out for the men's tennis team. Read My Underrated Year by Randy Powell to find out what happens to Roger his sophomore year.
William Sleator takes the stage with another entry from E.P. Dalton, The Duplicate. This book describes itself as double the pleasure, double the fun, and double the excitement.
When David finds a mysterious machine that can copy living things, he thinks his problems are over. By duplicating himself, he can pay his obligatory visit to Grandma and keep his date with Angela. While the other David is in school, the real one can spend the day at the beach. The possibilities are endless and terrifying. For the duplicate that David creates of himself has a mind, ideas, and desires of its own. And what began as the solution to David's problems turns into a nightmarish struggle for identity.
Here is A Good Courage, representing William Morrow and Company. This offering by Stephanie Tolan likes old hippies, young boys, and a communal lifestyle.
A Good Courage by Stephanie S. Tolan is a story about Ty, the teenage son of Jasmine, a flower child still trying to find her place in the world. The setting is a commune called the Kingdom, where Brother Daniel is the leader. Ty quickly realizes that children and teens lead a hard, miserable life in the Kingdom. Days are filled with field work, evenings with work in the kitchen. There is very little food, and the slightest wrong gets severe punishment. Jasmine can't be convinced that Ty's life is miserable.
With the improbable title, probably still Nick Swanson, Virginia E. Wolf and Henry Holt and Company tell us that to be like everyone else, we must accept that we're different.
Nick Swanson mostly understands what being in room 19 means. You can't drive even if you're 16. Sometimes regular kids make fun of you because you aren't as smart as they are, but other times you get to do work that's fun. Nick feels like an outcast because of his learning disability, and some kids call him a drooler. Find out how Nick gets through high school and probably still Nick Swanson by Virginia Woolf.
Well, there they are, 13 worthy candidates for the Sequoyah Young Adult Book Award for 1990. I wonder which it will be.
Have you picked out a favorite yet? Remember, you can't judge a book by its cover. And you need to read at least 3 to be eligible to vote. So get reading. You have between now and January 1991 to meet the contestants. They'll be coming to your school soon. So look for them in your school or public library.
I can hardly wait to find out who the winner is. And when we crown the winner and it takes its famous walk down the runway of your circulation desk, we can announce the first runner-up.
For Lucinda Lips, this is Bert Sparks. Thank you for being with us at the Sequoyah Young Adult Book Pageant. The pageant where everyone is a winner.
Shut up! It's time for me to sing!
There they are, our Sequoyah books. There they are, our ideal, the junior intermediate.